name's Biavati-Smith and I'm a speech and language therapist. You'll be able to read a lot about all the pathologies that I treat at www.wordsteps.co.uk. Today we're talking about what is bilingualism. I am an adult bilingual and I speak 3 languages. And in the world where we live, there are so many children and adults that they speak more than one language, and that's really what it means, what bilingualism means. It doesn't necessarily mean just 2 languages, it means more than one language, so multilingual. But how does that happen, especially for children? Because as a speech and language therapist, I treat a lot of children that have difficulties. But I'd like to explain that I don't treat them because they are bilingual. I treat them because they have a language delay, and as well as a language delay, they also have more than one language. So the language delay is not due to the fact that they are bilingual, but they have a language delay in both languages. But what does it mean bringing up a child bilingual? You've got your simultaneous bilingual, and those are children that they are born and grow up with 2 different languages or 3 languages at the same time. So one typical situation is that maybe you've got the mother that is maybe British and the father that is Spanish, or you might have the father who is first language is English and the mother who speaks Italian. So both of them, they speak their own language to the child, and the child is growing up knowing that there is more than one language, or slowly developing the concept that apple and mela are exactly the same thing. It happens also, some of the children that I've seen, that maybe the dad is speaking English as a first language, the mum speaks French, and they have a Chinese nanny, or they have a Spanish nanny, or they have other relatives that they're important in the child's life, and the child is also exposed to that language. The other one is successive bilingual. It means that the second language is picked up or learned after the first language is established. That can happen at any time, but normally after the child is starting to speak the first language. And it happens for families that they move to a different country. So you might have both mum and dad, they are from Spain and they move to the UK, and the child speaking Spanish, and then all of a sudden now it's going to a nursery that where they speak English. In any case, the child will develop 2 languages at the same time. With the second with the second type of bilingualism, the successive bilingualism, we also see what we call the silence period. And the silent period is when the child goes to a nursery or goes to a place where it's realizing that they are not speaking the language that he or she is normally speaking, and has a silent period. And that is the time where the child is absorbing and listening and trying to understand that when people are talking, he's thinking, I wonder what they mean. So it's silent because the child is not using language, but the child, it doesn't mean that it's not communicating. The child will find a way how to communicate by pointing, pulling, or using other strategies that they are part of a child's communication. That can happen really at any time. And that silent period normally can last 2, 3, 4 months until the child is really picking up enough language to make himself or herself understood. As a speech and language therapist and an expert in bilingualism, I always say that there is an amazing advantage in bringing your children bilingual. And that doesn't necessarily, it can only happen if you speak another language. It can happen that if you're from a monolingual couple, you might want your child to speak more than one language, and maybe they are watching TV, or you're going on holiday always to the same place, like in France, or you decide to have a nanny that speaks French, or you maybe speak a little French and you start playing the language with your child. Is always exposing the child to more than one language. And don't be afraid, children are just sponges, they pick it up at all time. It's so amazing to watch children playing with languages and kind of thinking, oh, I can say this in this language, oh, I wonder how we say this in this language. It's a really, really fun and satisfactory things to see, especially for little ones. So no matter what the situation you're at, don't be scared about bilingualism. It totally helps brain development, cognition, and is a real fun to be out in the world and being able to speak more than one language. If you would like to have more information and or you have any questions, please pop them below, or check my website www.wordsteps.co.uk, or follow me on my Facebook page, Edinburgh Speech and Language Therapy at WordSteps. Looking forward to seeing you again. Bye.